watching Your High School Sports.
Welcome to this week's Your High School Sports as we approach the playoffs. A lot of things got jumbled up last week. Some big games, some people that you didn't think would get beat, but got beat, guys, you know? It's like, let's start with Tri-Cities. We'll go to Jake in a minute, but let's talk about Dobbins being at Science Hill.
Dobbins being at Science Hill. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk much about them because I'm going to save that for Wednesday's story when our good guy, Bart Lyons will probably be ecstatic to talk all about
I'd say he will.
But yeah, I was going to be able to try to catch that game. I thought Elizabethton, well, that's the story I'm going to actually talk about. I thought that was going to be a game where I could get a couple of touchdowns, maybe sleep down the road to get that Dobbins Bennett Kingsport game, but I had to stay right there because, folks, let me tell you what, those two were our choice games. Dobbins Bennett Science Hill, which, believe it or not, that's a chance for a championship for Science Hill. But we'll say, like I said, save those stories for Bart. But we'll talk about what got me stuck in the mud, literally. Even though there's no mud on these turfs, these guys, they got it made now.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they do.
Still a little wet. It was a little wet on the night of Friday night when Elizabethton, all they had to do is say, hey, let's get a win and let's call it champions for the season. But you know what? There was a stubborn Sullivan South team that said, you know what? We're not going to make it that easy for you because they understood that, hey, we just got one loss too, buddy. So if we get you, there's a three-way tie for first. So we're going to let that thing work itself out. So South came in hyped and excited and ready, and we came in very just kind of lethargic and think we could just show
Let me ask you a question from that. Greenville carryover?
No doubt. Remember I talked about that last week.
You're
exactly right. Yeah, trap game. This definitely was a trap game for Elizabethton Cyclones. Now let me tell you, Elizabethton actually didn't have problems running up and down the field there. Of course, you know, my man Parker Hughes, my man always in the news. He starts off with a big touchdown, 41-yard pass from Rollins. But what got this team in trouble was mistakes, penalties. So, you know, that's in the mind. Like you said, it could be a carryover from Greenville.
Yeah.
But Elizabethton was able to get 7-0 halftime lead, which should have been 14-0. Actually, one of the Parker Hughes touchdowns got called back. Once again, minimal mistakes. Second half, Sullivan South said, we've got a chance. We're in it. Anytime you get in the dogfight with a good team, it's anybody's game. South came by, and they had a nice, good, structured offense. Was able to get a touchdown. They're down by one score. It came down to the fourth quarter, and Sullivan South was fourth down, and all they had to do for Cyclones was stop them, and it was about 5-6 minutes left, and you know, Cyclones just going to run the clock out. But guess what? Sullivan South had a new weapon for them that I don't know if they were prepared for. I forgot his name, but the offensive lineman for Sullivan South, they prepared him to play tight end in this game. Number 82, and he knew what to do.
The big boy out on the
the big boy, yeah, and he was giving them some trouble the whole game, and I was sitting over there and it was fourth down. I said, man, they've been working on 82 all night, either running to the side or doing a little dump pass to him, and guess what? 82 for the first down, and now we've got a whole new ball game because that set up for that second touchdown, which you thought it was going to be a tie until at the end the Cyclones came with a fabulous blocked extra point, and it was probably because, guess what, Sullivan South, they almost had a mistake-free game. They had a penalty after the touchdown, moved it back 5 yards, and as you can see on the close-up, because I did close-up, I had a feeling it was going to be a block kick. Gave Cyclones the win, 14-13.
Whoa! What a game! What a game!
Yes.
See?
Yep.
Now remember, Wednesday is Bart's day, so he will have all the necessary information about his big Hilltoppers win over Dobbins.
You have a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. All right, Jake, let's go your way.
Well, for Southwest Virginia, we're going to start off up there right now. We're looking at the Galax Maroon Tide. They're 7-1 right now. They've got 3 straight wins after a loss to Northside on September 27th. They beat Auburn 55-14 for their latest win, so big props to them. Up next, they've got Grayson County. Also looking at the Lebanon Pioneers, and going back to Galax for a moment, they're currently leading that part of Region 1C according to the Bristol Herald and Courier. Now on to the Lebanon Pioneers. They got their first win of the season this past week. Big props to those guys. 28-20 in the Southwest District. 366 rushing yards for Lebanon in this win. Based off that power eye, they tried to stay with the ground game all night. They've done it the past couple weeks. Hasn't worked real well, but this week it worked to perfection. Alden Ward for them had 3 touchdowns, so a big game for him to get that first win. Now they've got Richlands coming in at 4-4, so a really big test against the Blue Tornado. So on to Graham, the G-men right now doing really well, coming off a big win themselves this week. And then the Ridgeview Wolfpack, 7-1 right now after a 41-0 win over Abingdon, a very big win for them. Tanner Adkins has been a monster all season. 6 touchdowns in his last game, and then 5 this past weekend. And then also Saturday, he took in Tennessee's win over South Carolina, so possibly on the radar there for Tennessee, and definitely one to keep an eye out for, especially considering his stats so far this season.
5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, yeah.
That's a season for some running backs.
Yes.
And then Ridgeview got their co-championship in the Mountain 7 district. Now the other co-champion in that district will be determined this next week whenever Union and Abingdon face off. So we will see what happens there. So then on from Southwest Virginia, we're going to go down to Middle Tennessee around the Chattanooga area and in Nashville, starting off with a couple of undefeated teams. Murfreesboro, Oakland, 9-0 right now. And guys, guess what their margin of victory was this past Friday night?
Probably a couple of points.
74 points.
Oh.
They won 80-6 over Coffee County Central. Trying to go 10-0 right now. They've got Warren County up next, which is 4-5. So I'm looking for Murfreesboro, Oakland to go 10-0 to finish out the regular season. But then there's another undefeated team in that area too, the Pearl Cone Firebirds. They're 9-0 right now, coming off a 27-6 win over Independence. Up next, they've got Giles County, so a big test for them this week as well. And then also in Nashville, Brentwood Academy with a big win over Innsworth, 30-20.
Yes, I picked that one.
Keyshawn Lawrence for Innsworth now. He's a Tennessee commit. Had a kickoff return for a touchdown that made highlight reels across the country, but it wasn't enough. The Eagles still able to get the win there. And then up next for Brentwood Academy, a big test with McCallie this coming week. 8-1 right now, coming off their first loss of the season to Clearwater Academy International out of Florida. So a big test there for both teams in Brentwood Academy and McCallie. Jay Hardy, obviously, for McCallie, the big defensive lineman for them, set to make his recruiting announcement this next week. His choices right now between Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Florida, and Georgia. So right now it should be a very interesting test to see where Jay Hardy ends up leaning to go for college, but certainly a big test for McCallie as we go through the rest of the season as well. And then also in Chattanooga, staying in that area for a moment, Bradley Central, 7-2, coming off a big 14-point win over Soddy Daisy. Up next, a big showdown for them with McMinn County. Now, McMinn County and Bradley Central have both lost to Maryville this season,
they have.
but it'll be a big test when those two clash. And then staying in the 6-1-5, the Franklin Rebels right now, knocking off previously undefeated Nolensville, a big win for them. And big shout out to Cooper Grills, talking about that blocked field goal that Elizabethton had. Grills knocked away what would have been Nolensville's 2-point conversion to preserve the win for Franklin. So a big win for them. Guy Lipscomb, big shout out to him for the Rebels. 124 yards on the ground for him, but he can also do it all. 4 for 4 passing and a 25-yard pick 6 on defense.
Nice.
And then up next for Franklin, Dixon County. And Nolensville this week set to face Marshall County in their first ever region championship. So a lot going on in the Nashville area. And then finally, after that mouthful, we finally get down to West Tennessee.
West Tennessee, baby.
Going to first MUS Owls. They're 8-1 right now, coming off a 21-13 win over White Station. They face Briarcrest, which is 9-0 right now. So a big showdown there in Memphis this coming week. And then the Houston Mustangs, as always, they're 9-0 right now as well. 38-7 win over Cordova, their most recent victory. Up next, they've got Southwind, which should prove no trouble considering the work of Lincoln Parrott running back so far this year. So, guys, that'll do it from my area. What else we got?
You know, when you talk about West Tennessee, and I know everybody knows Jake is from West Tennessee, but right now on the radar for UT, how many players you think from the Memphis area?
I would say on the radar, there's 3 to 4 more, but they've already got 3 nailed down, those 3 from Whitehaven, in Bryson Easton, Tamarian McDonald, and Martavius French. Those were 3 big gets that they got all in one night.
Wow.
Over the past, I think it was a few days ago, literally, Tamarian McDonald decommitted from Mississippi State, and within that same time span, he, Bryson Easton, and Martavius French all announced their commitments to go to Tennessee. They all like what they have to offer on Rocky Top.
So very good, very good.
Rocky Top's on top.
And then along with that, A lot of other big names in Memphis to watch out for. I know Omari Thomas was up in Knoxville this weekend from Briarcrest to watch the win over South Carolina, and then several other big names from that area as well. So Jeremy Pruitt really locking down Memphis right now.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we've heard from across the region. We've heard from Middle, West, and Chattanooga, Southwest Virginia. Chris talked about the big win against Elizabethton. Hey, more to come right here in your high school sports, so you stay right with us.
Stay tuned for more of your high school sports.
I need your trade. I need your trade. I need your trade. I'll tell you what, look at my lot. It's getting empty. That's because we've been selling a ton of vehicles. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard. I need your trade. That means I'm going to put some dinero, some cash, lots of money in it. I'll tell you what, with your trade being worth what it is and the extra trade-in rebates, you can save up to $7,500 on a brand new 19 Cadillac XT5. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, right here in Greenville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want one or a dozen right now. So come visit our locally owned and operated Krispy Kreme donuts in Pigeon Forge. Our Krispy Kreme donuts are made fresh daily, our service is fast and friendly, and the taste will put a smile on anyone's face. Krispy Kreme is a fundraising favorite, so call us today to help support your school or community fundraising efforts. Our delivery truck is there when you need us. Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
You are watching Your High School Sports, the source for football in the Southeast. Powered by Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge and on Highway 66 in Sevierville. Here is your host, Roddy Woods, along with co-host Chris Blevins, Chris Reddick, and Jake Nichols.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. I'm your host, Roddy Woods. Jake Nichols is with us today. Chris is on the cruise. And 10 man. 10 man again.
The nickname keeps coming back. By Christmas, he's going to be haunted with it.
Hey, Chris Reddick is here. Hey, guys, it's playoff time. Okay, I just want to kind of get into the playoffs. I know I used to have a good old buddy down at Maryville, Coach Squirrels. He never wanted to talk about playoffs till the very last game. Okay, he'd have it locked up, and he'd say, Roddy, no, we're not talking playoffs. Okay, Coach, you already in. Let's talk about it. All right, let's go from the West Tennessee. Let's talk about
West work our way
playoffs.
back.
Well, for West Tennessee right now, a lot of teams looking good in Division II right now, especially those Briarcrest Saints and then the MUS Owls. They're the top two in their division right now down there, and they should be definitely two teams for teams around here to watch out for. They've both got weapons on both sides of the football, both got a lot to offer in coaching staffs, so I think that they'll prove a lot of trouble. And you know, in the past, I know that East Tennessee teams that we've seen a lot of success from this area when it comes down to at least meeting in Cookeville for the state titles, but West Tennessee has got a lot to offer this season as far as postseason play. So I think we're going to see a lot from Memphis, especially with MUS and Briarcrest. But then also don't forget about the Houston Mustangs as well. They're 9-0 right now. They're rolling along. And then, of course, the Whitehaven Tigers, who we talked about with that recruiting. Guys, their defense in the past 5 games has allowed 0 points from the opponents.
Wow.
So shutouts for the past 5 games for the Whitehaven Tigers, and that'll be a big test for whoever they end up facing when it comes to playoff time.
It sure will be. What about you, Chris? What about Upper East Tennessee?
Well, in Upper East Tennessee, I kind of broke it down last week, and look, some things have changed because, believe it or not, that big upset, this was upset week, by the way, in the Tri-Cities. Upset game was Science Hill taking over the Dobbins-Bennett Indians. Now, guess what? That gives them a chance to possibly be a two-way tie for the championship. So they're now playing for the championship, and they're going to go against Bearden. So this could either put Science Hill in the winner seat or the loser seat. Loser seat meaning they may drop to 4th.
And that's not good.
Not good. But also want to break down things in 5A. 5A, that interesting things happen. Another upset game. Of course, we saw the Musket Bowl. Heavily favored Crockett got defeated by a Boone team that, guess what? Since Charlie Cole, it looked like their season was done, but in the last 4 or 5 games, they've just picked up and it's been rolling with steam. Blair, been the man that's been replacing Cole at running back and did a good job in helping sustain that team. So looks like that it's going to be Tennessee High. They've already claimed the championship, followed by right now Daniel Boone, Crockett, and Cherokee's in 4th, but Cherokee and Boone play, so possibly one of those could snatch the 2nd place or one of the three, actually. But anyway, let's move down to 4A. We've talked about that. Elizabethton's got that secured, wrapped up in the bag. Greenville's 2, followed by Sullivan South. Tough game against Elizabethton. And possible Granger County and Union. They got a matchup this week, so that may determine the fourth slot. Let's go on into 3A. 3A's kind of solidified itself. I think we talked about Chucky Doak, no joke, being in number 1. You got Unicoi County, Johnson County. And then also West Green, those teams will be going to the playoffs. And then you go down to 2A. 2A, interesting things happening. South Green and Happy Valley. Key game this week.
Play.
Whoever wins that game probably be crowned the champion. But Hampton's probably hoping that South Green beats Happy Valley because now it gets down to the head-to-head. Anyway, let's move on to our favorite one, 1A. Who made the playoffs?
Everybody.
Everybody.
What I want to throw in there is the way Knoxville is shaking up. Mm-hmm. You got the big loss by the win over South Doyle over Knox Central last week.
Yep.
You always thought Central was in the driver's seat, but hey.
Ranked number 1, too.
But Clark Duncan's team is for real.
Yes, they are. They've been that way all year long. We said it from day one, from media days.
And then they finally, I think, fully proved it with that win over Central.
That was a big win because they had been Central was 22 straight games. Man. You know, so hey, Knoxville, we know Maryville, Alcoa, but you've got Austin East down there, and you know, look out. You know, you've got like Beard and Science Hill this week. You got a lot of more teams down there.
Still got to get something to play for. Yeah,
could play a lot, go way deep down in the playoffs. You know,
another big test this week. You know, I think that I already know who I'm going to side with, but it could still be kind of one to watch for a trap game is Dalvin's Bennett at Alcoa.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good. That could be a good game. Yeah. It could be a good game. So hey guys, a quick run through right quick. Make sure you stay with us, and make sure Friday you make a point to be on Your High School Sports at 11 a.m. for our quick picks. We'll talk about that, but a rundown on our top 10 right quick, Jake, as we wrap things up.
Well, right now we have got from number 1, Maryville. Number 2, Oakland. Number 3, McCallie. Number 4, Briarcrest. Number 5, Alcoa. Number 6, Pearl Cone. Number 7, South Doyle. Number 8, Elizabethton, coming off that by the teeth win, by the skin of their teeth. Number 9, Knox Powell, and number 10, Loudon. They've been quietly building themselves all season with the Redskins, and they're 9-0 right now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. That's what I said. I didn't talk too much about Knoxville, but look out. There's always 2 or 3 gold balls.
And there's a lot of contenders right now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. All right, guys, you've heard it here. Everything cool?
Everything's cool.
Everything cool. For Jake Nichols, for Chris Reddick, I'm Roddy Woods. We'll see you next week right here on Your High School Sports.